Hey guys, welcome back to Starcastic Remarks, and alongside my brother Chris to my right, James to my left, my name is Ryan Chambers. We are the official Dallas Stars podcast of THPN. Thank you to DraftKings Sportsbook for being our sponsor of this episode of us and of the entire THPN. Chris's face absolutely says it all for me and for James tonight, I feel like. Dallas Stars lose by a final score of 5-4 tonight to the Calgary Flames, who are playing very desperate hockey. 6 points out of a playoff spot. But what's frustrating for the Stars is they come back twice from 2-goal deficits, and they're not able to get anything out of this game tonight. How are you guys doing first off? So personal things first. How are y'all doing? And then what are your initial thoughts about this game, just as a broad general thing?
I'm doing bad now, but I thought
it was going good.
I thought it was a good game. There was definitely parts of the game where the Stars sucked, especially the first period. We were very bad, but I mean, overall the comeback effort 2 times to be able to come back from that game. I mean, that was a lot of good too, and to go through all that and have a chance to win it at the end and come out with nothing is just crazy. It feels like you ruined a very good game off of one stupid play.
James, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm pretty close to what Chris's is, but I mean, it's the Flames playing desperate hockey and getting some bounces, and that pretty much summed it up for me.
Getting some bounces for sure. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was my biggest thing tonight. I have a couple of things. One is going to be very unpopular, I feel like, as an opinion tonight. And then the second one is just very obvious to see. My initial thought coming out of this game is, and I'm just going to come out flat out and say it, Otter was our worst player tonight.
Except on the PK.
But the thing is, his job is to make the saves when we 100% need it. And yes, we didn't get the save when we needed it at the end of the game. Now, was that totally his fault that we were at a 4-4 position? Not completely. But the thing is he was not good tonight at all. And
especially by his standard, for sure.
And the other thing is he wasn't even average tonight. All we needed was average tonight, and we would have gotten the win. When your team scores you 4 goals, you get the win. Yeah. You absolutely should be getting the win.
And the first person who will tell you that is Otter, too. He'll be the first guy to tell you that.
And that's super unpopular. I think that's going to be a lot of people jumping on me for that opinion. But it's not just the last play of the game.
Yeah, it was all night long, man.
It was all night long.
And he didn't look confident at all. Every shot on net, he was giving up awful rebounds. He wasn't kicking them to the boards like he normally is. He looked very unsure.
And the first goal encompasses all of what y'all are both saying. I mean, that should never be a goal. I mean, he's just not aware of where the puck is. I mean, that's just not good. So, and we can say this, that Otter had a bad game and still acknowledge that he's probably one of the biggest reasons why we've had such a good season. So Otter is fine. I don't think this is going to be an issue moving forward, but he was unfortunately one of the big reasons that we lost the game tonight.
I mean, he's had a few
He was the biggest
games.
reason why we lost this game tonight. He is the biggest reason why we lost the game tonight.
I still think when you did such a good job in the game of bailing out the goaltender, which you have to do sometimes. Otter deserves to be bailed out more than any other goalie.
Agreed.
And he's kept
100%.
us in some crazy games. To give up a breakaway to Tyler Toffoli at the end of the game, stupid. To have your fourth line on the ice at the end of the game, stupid. To have the pairing of Hakanpää Lindell on the ice in the last minute of the game, stupid. All those things are stupid.
I want to touch on the second thing I wanted to talk about, and that thing is we didn't see the same compete level that we saw against Colorado, right?
Especially in the first.
And what this really leads into is the Stars did not win a lot of the 50-50 puck battles tonight. Calgary was having a too easy of a time getting out of their own zone. They were doing a good job for the most part during a duration of the game, but Dallas was not making it hard on them like they did against Colorado. And if that's one of the things that the Stars are good at, it's that. They need to take that and run with it. So those two things, I think, were the biggest things tonight. Otter was not very good tonight. He was probably our worst player tonight. And then second, there's not enough hustle and not winning enough of the 50-50 puck battles.
And I think a lot of that has to do with just the dire situation that the Flames are in right now. They have to win. They're a team that was first in the West, or second in the West, first in their conference last year, and they're about to miss the playoffs. I mean,
they will miss the playoffs. They're not making the playoffs. I feel very confident in saying
there's
that.
still a small chance that they could, but with the way that they had been playing, there was no chance that they were making it. If they can start scrapping out wins, they at least have the hope, and that's what they're fighting for right now.
And it's a little bit tougher for the Stars coming off a big emotional win that was Saturday to come around and play a team that is worse than them objectively, and to have this and to match that compete level. And I think in the second half of the game, they did a pretty good job of that, especially the third period. I disagree strongly that we lost puck battles in the third period. Third period, we were all over them. But yeah, definitely in the first period, they were all over us the exact same way. So yeah.
What other things did y'all want to talk about before I get into some other things? I don't want to take over the episode or anything. Anything specific that y'all noticed about any players or anything that stuck out to you?
The defense was not good enough. They were in the slot a lot, at least relative to what the Stars normally do. Otter was giving up a lot of rebounds, but we also weren't clearing a lot of rebounds either. So that was not very good. And then real quick, just wanted to mention, we really saw the duality of Max Domi tonight. I mean, I think it was the second goal of the game is almost 100% because Max Domi is completely out of position defensively and just gives Zadorov wide open look at the net. And then he comes right back around and then scores. I mean, that's exactly what you're going to get with Max Domi. So I think it's good for Stars fans to see both sides of that in this game tonight.
I think the biggest thing for me is that special teams really feels like it's back. It does. It's been multiple games in a row, and there's been 3 of the last 5 where we've had a shorthanded and a power play goal in the same game. So it really feels like they're at least got a little bit of that back in their game now.
A lot of one-timers going too.
So I do want to take a look at a couple of the goals, because maybe looking back on some of the goals, you could say that Otter wasn't as bad as I'm saying, but it wasn't necessarily the goals that went in. It was a lot of the rebound control that he was doing tonight. Some of the saves that he probably should have made, especially glove grabs, he was not making. But anyways, I'm kind of ragging on him a little bit. But anyways, let me get back to this. The first goal by Richie, that was just a fluke accident, and he thought he had it under him and he didn't. So it's just a little bit of unawareness by him. And it was just a weird rebound. Also, it just kind of plopped right by his skate, and it just so happened that Richie was there.
Yeah, and he gets to the puck before Ben does, so it breaks it up from getting off of Ben's stick and swiping it out, and it goes to Richie instead.
Yeah.
Yep. And then I also wanted to mention the third goal for Calgary, because that one was probably one that I felt Otter should have had as well. I know it was a bouncing puck and everything like that, but again, he's just got to be more aware of where he is on the ice, and he's got to be able to make those kind of saves, because that should not have gone in my own opinion.
Yeah, and it was a weird play too, just like the first one. I mean, that's a combination of a lucky bounce for Calgary and not the best play. Or I like what you said, the best awareness by Otter.
And then this, and my second point, what I was talking about, goes back to the second goal that the Stars had. Zadorov had 3 chances on the same shift to get a shot off, and it was the third one that went in. So that was another thing that they were just not able to do, that they were able to do really well against Colorado, was get the puck out of their own zone. And tonight, what they were missing compared to the game against Colorado is they were not getting that second help from whoever else if it was getting blocked by the opposing team coming out of their own zone. So what I'm talking about is, like, let's just say Suter throws it around the boards or whatever, and Zadorov is right there to stop it at the point. In the game against Colorado, there was somebody else there to help get the puck out of the zone, and they would be able to do that. in the game tonight, there was a lot of opportunities where the Stars had chances to get it out of their own zone. And because they weren't able to get it out of their own zone, it led to more extended zone time. And in this case, the second goal for Zadorov, 3 chances to take a shot at the net.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where I come back and kind of blame the defenseman a little bit. And that's been a pattern throughout the season that our defensemen don't make good outlet passes, and they don't make it easy on their forwards who come back to help them. They're tough plays every single time.
And on this game, I felt like that wasn't as much the defense's fault, but there was lots of times where the forwards were trying to break out way too early, and the Flames were just hard forechecking 3 all night long.
I think there is going to be an interesting balance that you're going to have to find there too, though, because we want to be able to put up goals like we did tonight too. Yeah. So,
and I
if
thought
Otter makes 1 save tonight out of any of those, then this game is still going on right now.
That's the thing that I keep going back to as well, is like, if we get a game that we expect that Otter has, then we don't even just win this game, or we don't even just go to overtime. We win this game outright. I mean, if Otter has a good game, we dominate. Now, if Otter has a great game, we win 4-1. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at too, Ryan. But even with the shot advantage for Calgary, Money Puck still has the Stars winning this game the majority of the time, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah. Going back to the forecheck real quick for the Flames, though, I thought the best line that dealt with it was Max Domi's line. Max Domi, Sagan, and Marchment. They would send one up and they would stand on the offensive blue line, and then the other 4 would get it out of the zone to that person and then break someone into the zone. And I didn't see any other line trying that all night long. They were all just trying to break out of their own zone constantly. So I felt like the second line was really trying to break the opposition's blue line, and everyone else was trying to break past our own blue line.
That's fair. Stretching the ice a little more.
Yeah.
So the last couple of games now, Ottinger has let in 8 goals in the last 2 games, which is very un-Ottinger-like. And the thing that's frustrating tonight is we make just like one stupid mistake at the end of the game. It was one dumb mistake, and we're not able to take advantage of it the Calgary does take advantage of it. Excuse me, is what I meant to say. And I mean, like the whole third period, the ice was tilted in our favor.
Yep.
I still felt like they could have done a little bit more to dominate that period, but they were dominating the period.
Yeah. I mean,
and
the only thing you could do is score.
Yeah. Even the first goal that the Flames had was weird, out of play, or against the flow of the game.
Yeah, luck and a great shot.
Yeah.
I want to talk about this because this is something that before the power play goal, I was a little frustrated about. The Stars power play has been off. And not off as in like they're bad, because it hasn't been bad. It's been better over the last 5 games or so. But I think Razor put it best when he said they're getting these opportunities to win the game, to tie the game, to use their power play at the right time. And they're not taking advantage of it in these last couple of games. They have a power play at the end of the game. And I mean, perfect timing. I mean, last couple minutes of the game, you can avoid giving any points to Calgary whatsoever, but they just can't do it. They can't get that clutch goal, which they were getting at the beginning of the year, at this point in the year. So should we be worried about the power play? Is Razor right in this? Is this something worthy to talk about? What do y'all think?
Well, and they've never gotten the clutch power play goal at any point in the season, I don't think. I can think of other times where we had power play goals late in games that we didn't get a power play goal on, and then after the power play we scored 5-on-5. I mean, I think this is more than just recently we haven't been clutch on the power play. I think for some reason our power play goals are just not timely.
James, what do you think? Is there anything to that, or you just don't really know at this point?
I'm not too worried about it, mostly because when we are 5-on-5 late in games, we normally look really good. So,
but then this power play late in this game was terrible. That was our worst power play in like the past 2 weeks. It sucked.
Well, and it wasn't the only one. The power play is so weird right now, because we'll have like a couple, like for every one good power play we have, whether it be Well, let me just say it this way because this popped into my head. We only have good power plays when we score, it seems like. And then otherwise, we just have absolutely terrible, sucky power plays. We don't get any power plays where we gain momentum. Does that make any sense?
There's been some that we've gained momentum, I feel like.
But there hasn't been as much as I would like, and it's just not enough, in my own opinion.
I feel like all the power plays that we had tonight were good except for the last one. So I'll kind of disagree with you on that.
There was a second one. I need to find it.
I think the first one was pretty bad, but I think that was because they were figuring out how the Flames were penalty killing. And once they had figured that out, they looked fine on the
but the two in the second period, we were rolling. I mean, that's what got us going.
Okay, so it was the one act. It was the power play actually right before we scored the power play goal from Robo.
Yeah, I thought
so it was Dubé when Dubé pulled down Suter, and one of the things was that there was a really bad pass by Jamie Benn on the offensive blue line, and it led to a Calgary 3-on-1, and thankfully Calgary did nothing with it. And my point from that power play, I just said there's just not enough urgency from Dallas on the power play. And they did it great at 5-on-5. I thought they looked better 5-on-5 at a lot of times than they did 5-on-4 at sometimes. And that shouldn't be the case. You should be like going all out on the power play. And I haven't seen that as much in this game like I did against Colorado. The Colorado game I thought was great when it came to the beginning of power plays. The end of power plays, it really sucked. But nonetheless, I'm talking.
I'll agree with that. I thought there was not enough pressure on the puck on power plays. Like when we get the shot off, it doesn't feel like three guys should be rushing to the puck as soon as we shoot it on the power play because we have the extra guy. We can afford that, and it doesn't feel like we're attacking it strong enough in the offensive zone.
Seguin at the end of the game shot the puck in, and normally I'd be like all mad and upset, like you're on a power play, don't dump the puck in. But nothing else was working. They just could not get into the offensive zone on that last power play. So I was just like, hey, why not do it?
Credit the Flames for that kill too, honestly.
Yes, you can credit the Flames for that. Another thing that I didn't really like until the third period is I didn't feel like the Stars were throwing it enough at the net. They were doing a lot of that against Colorado, which I thought was absolutely great. But tonight, I didn't feel like they did that enough until they got to the third period.
I'll disagree with that too.
They had more shots in this game than the other game.
And the Flames are one of the best teams at preventing shots on goal as well. They have one of the lowest opponent shot attempt or shots on goal in the entire league. So I'll disagree with that. I thought we did pretty good getting shots on net, and I think we shoot a lot normally. So,
and the last thing I'll talk about, and then we need to talk about some positive things because there were a lot of positive things to talk about in this game. The only thing I did not like also in the third period was obviously Calgary took the foot off the gas pedal. I mean, 100% they took their foot off the gas pedal and played prevent defense with like 6 defensive backs deep, basically. And they took advantage of it, but I still felt like when they first started, the Stars weren't really pushing enough. Is that fair?
No.
Okay.
I think the only reason why it kind of felt like that is because they got the first goal in the third period, and that was completely against the flow of the game.
Yeah, and I thought the first 5 minutes of the third period were great by the Stars. I thought they were fantastic, and then the Flames got. I think that was the only chance that the Flames
that was
had.
Their first shift, even in the offensive zone.
Yeah, and they scored on it. So I think that might be why you're a little off on the third period, in my opinion, but. I think the other reason is that we just didn't score. I mean, we had so many chances. We should have scored 3 or 4 goals in the third, and we could only get 2 in.
This is interesting. Ardell has an interesting comment over here. Domi to the wing, y'all. His defense is better masked there. Sagan is by far a better two-way center. Is that an idea?
Lots of people have had that idea, and they have tried the idea. And it works. He is better defensively on the wing, but he also is worse offensively on the wing. So it has been tried before. It might be worth trying again, but I think the offensive upside is worth the risk.
I think the reason why he's so much better offensively in the center position is because of his speed. He's honestly really, really fast. And if he could use that getting back more, that'd be great. But he really knows how to use it offensively.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the biggest thing why I'm frustrated is because there were so many good things about this game tonight. There really were. I mean, look at it. The Stars score on the power play. They score a shorthanded goal. They score from Ben, who gets a incredible, like, timely, clutch goal to tie it 4-4 when we really needed one on the power play. And on top of that, Ben scoring that goal on the power play, it was a tipped shot, which is something that we've been talking about for a while and getting their power play going.
Yeah.
It
So-
wasn't a power play goal, but
That was
It wasn't?
even strength.
it was off of an icing call.
Oh, maybe
But
that's what I thought.
We've been talking about getting the deflections back anyway. But
Well, deflections. Either way, right. So
lots of good stuff. And another thing that I'll we might say this is an excuse, but Otter's played a lot of games. I think he's played one of the most games of any goaltender in the league.
I think
he
only
might be
Hellebuyck has more.
Hellebuyck has more? Okay. But yeah, Otter is
Which makes
probably
sense.
tired. And the past 2 games have been rough. And we haven't been able to play our backup as much recently, especially because we don't have
He's
one.
hurt.
Wedgwood is hurt. So that's definitely an issue too, I think. And we really need to find a way to get Otter a lot more rest before the playoffs come around.
So is that something that we kind of wish Nil had gone out and gotten another goalie?
No,
Because
You don't expect that Wedgwood's going to be hurt, and
yeah,
there's not been a lot of good goalies on bad teams that have not already been traded for. So there wasn't really much of a chance that we were going to get one.
yeah. And we had Anton Hudobin. We just couldn't bring him up for cap space. So if we can't bring Anton Hudobin up for cap space, we're not going to trade and get another goalie. He's
That's
not going to fit.
I think that Scott Wedgwood, that's kind of over the heads of the Dallas Stars right now, in the fact that, I mean, they need to get Ottinger some rest, I feel like, and maybe that's why he played bad tonight. He just needed a night of rest and he didn't get it. And Wedgwood is just not available. And Matt Murray, we're not going to throw Matt Murray against Calgary. I mean, we threw him against Chicago, right?
I think you're going to have to play Matt Murray more.
Yeah.
You
I
just
mean,
gotta
if
chance, I
Wedgwood's
guess,
not
yeah.
going to come
Maybe-
back.
Maybe that's the answer. Throw Matt Murray in the net against a better team, and expect the Stars to play better defense in front of him, because they're not going to hang a rookie out to dry, I guess.
Yeah, it's
I mean-
not worth getting your star goalie overly exhausted. I mean, play Matt Murray. I mean, he wasn't terrible. He showed that he could play in the NHL the other day. We need Otter to be good, and it feels like he's just off right now.
He's been off recently too. I mean, the Blackhawks comeback when Otter was in net for that. He was in net for the loss against the Canucks too in overtime, where he let up 5, and then he let up 5 today too. All at home, by the way, which is really annoying that he can't play at home.
It's so
but
funny. So
it's ridiculous. He has like a
here's what we figured
960 on the road.
Yeah, so here's what we figured out, okay? So we're going on the road now for the next week and a half or 2 weeks or whatever it is.
So
So
we
6
can ride
games straight
Otter.
now. Right Otter all 6 games. That's what I'm hearing.
He's gonna play better on the road regardless, which is really frustrating that we can already say that without the games even happening yet.
So looking at the Stars' next stretch of schedule, since we're talking about goaltending, the next 6 games are all on the road. We got 2 days off before we play Buffalo on Thursday. But you've got Buffalo, Seattle. So back-to-back games in Seattle against Seattle. And then you go straight to Vancouver, second game of a back-to-back. You have Edmonton and then Calgary. I'm really looking at that Vancouver game and saying, Matt Murray, the net is yours if Wedgwood is not available for that game.
Yeah, or a couple of times. I mean, maybe even in this first game against Buffalo. I mean,
but the thing is Buffalo is in the exact same position that Calgary is in right now. They're just out of a playoff spot just because they have games in hand. And they could be just as desperate as Calgary. And do you really want to put a rookie in that kind of a situation?
You don't have a choice, I don't think. I mean, when Otter is obviously off right now, and the big thing that we're looking at is he's played the second most games of any goalie in the league. If he needs a rest, give him a rest. I don't care if we're playing Matt Murray. I honestly don't care if Matt Murray gets shelled. I mean, it would suck, and I wouldn't like it, and it probably would not be great for Murray. But Otter needs something. Something's up with Otter, and I don't think he sucks now, because that's not true. He's one of the best goalies in the league. I really think it could come down to him getting tired, because for a normal goalie, the amount of games that he's played, their season, like the regular season, is done. You know what I'm saying? Like, most goalies would play this amount of games in an entire season, and we've still got a month and a half left. So
this is an interesting stat that I stole from the broadcast tonight. But these two teams are tied for the NHL past 60-minute losses, which wasn't a factor tonight. But what was more interesting is that Calgary is the absolute worst team in 1-goal losses. They have more 1-goal losses than any other team in the NHL. And then Dallas is third, which they add to their total here again tonight, which is even more frustrating because they don't get a point out of it. So is this something to be concerned about? Because I think they have 18 or 19 now. But again, like 13 of those are in overtime. So it's like, is that something we should be concerned about at this point?
Yeah, I think it's worth being concerned over, just because of the lack of a clutch gene. I mean, this game especially, I mean, that is whatever the opposite of clutch is, they found it here. So
Also, I don't know if they count like empty netter goals into the equation, but the Stars have scored lots of empty net goals to push it past 1-goal games this season.
Yeah. So we don't have a lot of 1-goal wins because we always score
the empty netter.
Yeah.
Which is something we used to be really bad about a couple of years ago, remember?
Yes.
And that was another stat they threw up there. Dallas leads the league in the most wins with 3 or more goals as a lead. That was really weird how I said that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You make sense? Okay. Everybody understands what I'm saying. Okay, biggest winner, biggest loser tonight. Chris, you want to start us off with biggest loser?
Biggest loser? I'm surprised y'all haven't talked about it. Yanni Hakanpää. I mean, on that last play,
he's slow.
Tyler Toffoli is on your blue line. You should not be skating towards him when the Flames have the puck. Your butt should be on the red line before it's even close to him. You should be like, oh, there's 10 seconds left and Tyler Toffoli's on the ice. I'm just going to stand by my goaltender. That's what you should be doing. I don't know what on earth you're doing. And then just to get absolutely blazed like that, you look like a football player out there compared to Tyler Toffoli. So, yeah, terrible play at the very end, which sucks because he had a great game. Other than that, he was fantastic, I thought. And one stupid boneheaded play.
James?
I'm gonna give mine to Kiwi. He was knocking off rust tonight, so it's kind of like not fair to say that.
Yeah.
But he was very obviously slow on the puck tonight.
I give him a big pass tonight. This is obviously conditioning game for him. He was not up to speed or stamina, but there's no other way to get back up other than playing. But that is fair still.
I'm going to give mine to Yanni Hakanpää tonight too. And again, it's not fair because he had one giant mistake at the end of the game, but that one giant mistake ends up costing us the game. And I'm not going to give it to Otter because I already ragged on him for like 5 to 7 minutes. So it's not really fair for me to continue doing that.
And because of the other 15 winners that we've robbed him of, he deserves to get a pass on the loser.
Exactly. And then that's the other reason. I mean, the thing that's bad about being a goaltender is when you really suck it up, you get a lot of slack for it. But a lot of the time when you're pretty good or solid, you don't get any credit for that. So that's the other thing, is that he doesn't get enough credit for the above average games he plays. Obviously, he gets a lot of credit for the really good games that he plays. We sing his praises on this podcast. But when he's just above average and he's doing really good and he's solid and he's good enough and only allows 2 goals, he doesn't get enough credit for that. And we don't talk about him enough in those games.
Yep.
So that's another reason why I won't give him my biggest loser. But who's your biggest winner tonight, Christian?
Biggest winner, Jamie Benn. The dude is just having an insane year. I mean, the clutch nature at the end of that game to get that deflection goal, that is Jamie Benn through and through. That is the Stars captain. That was awesome. I was losing my mind.
I'm gonna give mine to Ripley Hintz. That shorthanded goal was really, to me, that was the more turning point in the game, even more than Domi's that tied it at 2-2. That really put the Stars back in the driver's seat after taking a bad penalty too.
Yeah. After that goal, we were for sure gonna at least tie it.
Mm-hmm. I'll give mine to Max Domi tonight because he gets his first goal as a Dallas Star. We saw what he could do. Like you said, Chris, there's some negative things to his game that we saw, but he did set up a couple of good chances for a lot of his teammates. And with him on that line, they've looked good. So maybe flip Sagan and Domi and maybe try that out and see if Domi can be good on the wing. But the problem is that Sagan is better at either position than Domi is, right? If that makes any sense, depending on what you look at. Sagan's better, in the center as a two-way center, and then he's also better at the wing than Domi is at the wing.
I think we're more confident in him defensively in both of those positions, yes.
Right. So maybe it just depends on the situation of the game and what you need. And if you're holding down a 1-goal lead, you throw Sagan in the middle. And if, I don't know, if you're down by 2 goals, you throw Domi in the middle. Maybe that's something you can look at. I don't think there's any reason to mess with the lines, but
no.
Last question for the evening, because we got to ask it again, and it's the second game in a row that we're going to have to ask it again. Harley, is he going to be coming up? Because, I mean, Ardell puts it very well here when he says, Miller Lundqvist are suspect from game to game. Hot and cold like my high school girlfriend. Give Hanley a game. But here's the problem is that Hanley has looked hot and cold at certain points too. There's games he's done really well in, and then there's games he's come in and he's looked really kind of rough in. So again, this is an opportunity that I really wish Jim Nill had gotten just one more defenseman, and not even like a top 2 defenseman.
I
mean, what is the solution here, guys? Is it bringing Harley up here? Is it and scratching both Lundqvist and Miller, and then putting Hanley and Harley out there, and maybe seeing what those two guys?
I just hope he gets a chance at some point.
Yeah, I mean, Harley needs to play before the end of the season.
Just a 5-game stint, even, and if it doesn't work out, fine. At least we know. I just want to at least give it a chance.
There's one other guy that I would be interested to see because the Stars signed him this year, and we haven't talked a lot about him this year either. And it's the defenseman Will Butcher. He's kind of been a fringe NHL guy. He's definitely more on the offensive side of the puck, so he's a puck-moving defenseman. Maybe we see him. I know y'all probably don't know enough about him to make an opinion on that. But without knowing enough about him, would you be willing to give him a chance, especially after a game like this when our defense wasn't all that great?
I'll give anyone a chance right now on the blue line.
What do you think, James?
I'm scared of defensemen that just can't break into the NHL. I mean, bottom 6 defensemen are not great normally anyway. And if you're not even breaking into the bottom pairing defenseman, if you're not even breaking into the bottom pair, that's kind of rough.
True.
I just think at this point it's fair to take a look at it, if that makes any sense. I think we should take a look at it because our defense has been very suspect all season long, and it's cost us some games, like Hakanpää's play tonight. So, all right. Anything else, gentlemen?
Yeah, that Nick Ritchie hit on Miro Heiskanen at the end of the game. That was crap.
That was bull crap. Yeah,
there is no other reason to do a blindside hit like that from behind than to try and injure the Stars' best player. That is absolute garbage.
James, what'd you think of that on that play?
What more do you want me to say on it?
Yeah, I did it perfectly. That's crap. Nick Ritchie's a word I'm not gonna say.
He's a dirty player. Absolutely dirty player. Okay. Well, before we wrap it up here tonight, we've got one special little announcement that we want to make. And gentlemen, we're just going to go ahead and make it now. this is the special announcement that I kind of dropped in the last episode, but we will be doing a live episode at the American Airlines Center on March 25th, the game against the Vancouver Canucks. All three of us will be there. We're not quite sure yet exactly where we're going to do it at. We're kind of hopefully looking at PNC Plaza, but somewhere out there, maybe on the sidewalk, and we'll just do it out there live right immediately after the game. So if you see us there at the game, come and say hi. And also, if you want to come and watch the episode as we talk about the game, hopefully the Stars win, because Stars need some revenge after that last game against Vancouver. We'd love to see you there. So if you want to check us out there, we'd love to see y'all. Guys, are y'all excited about that? I think it's going to be a really cool experience.
No, I hate going to Stars games. Sucks.
This will be my first Stars game of the season, actually, like in person. I haven't gotten to go to one this season. So
I've been to many.
Oh,
Shut up,
shut
James.
it,
We hate you.
James. Yeah, being in the DFW area, lucky you. I'm 6
That's
hours
y'all's
away from
fault.
Stars.
That's y'all's fault for moving away.
I agree.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. That's fair. All right, guys. Please go and check out sarcasticremarks.com. Thank you to all of y'all who are listening afterwards. We really appreciate it and all the support you guys show us. Please consider liking, subscribing on the YouTube channel or on Twitch, wherever you're listening. Leave us a 5-star review if you enjoyed listening to us here, whether that be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that stuff. And as always, along with Chris and James, my name is Ryan. We will catch you guys on the flip side. Looking forward to that game against the Vancouver Canucks. And we hope you guys have a good, fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are listening. We'll see you guys again on Thursday.